and get going. All right. Once again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for the Discover Nicaragua virtual tour. Really excited to have you all on with us. I know for some of you who have registered and maybe you've been down to Grand Pacifica before or Nicaragua, but I know for a majority of you, this is going to be your first time getting a sneak peek of Grand Pacifica and also the larger Nicaragua. So we welcome you to the tour, and we're going to just quickly go through what the agenda items look like. And I apologize because my computer doesn't have the camera, so I'm doing it on my phone over here too, plus the computer. So if you see double screens from me, that's why. But I just quickly wanted to run through the agenda with all of you so you have an idea of what it is that's in store. Right now, we're going to be doing the meet and greet. So if you are able to or comfortable to, I'll say, and show us your face and give us an introduction about your name, where you're from. We'll go through that at the end of this slide here. But I do want to run through the agenda quickly. Right after this at 5 p.m. Eastern, we are going to have a general Grand Pacifica questions and answers. I'm going to review the different communities with you at Grand Pacifica, just as a quick overview to the projects and the properties. And then from there, we're going to be answering general questions that folks have. And then obviously you're going to get a lot more of the information throughout the next few days, but that was really designed to be more of a very general overview and Q&A session. And then we're going to send you, well, let me even take a step back. There's going to be a mix of live and pre-recorded items. So where you see that live, that red camera looking thing where it says live, those are of course going to be live, and then everything else in black is going to be pre-recorded and then sent to you. So we're going to send you today the Nicaragua 101, which is a great overview about the country. And if you haven't yet tuned into that, it's going to be a great introductory for you. I would recommend listening to it prior to tomorrow's sessions because there's a lot of great information in it that will help explain some of the concepts that we're reviewing tomorrow. There's going to be a live Q&A tomorrow morning, and just note that these times are in Eastern time, but we're going to be doing a live Q&A with Paul Tiffer. Paul is our attorney in Nicaragua. He helps people set up residencies and corporations and bank accounts. So it's going to be an hour long, maybe even a little bit more if we need it to be, session for him to go through what those details look like. And then we have sessions for you of Managua, going through a tour of Managua, the Messiah volcano, off to Granada, which is a very beautiful Spanish colonial city. It's the oldest city within Central America. It's stunning. It's colorful. It's right there on Lake Nicaragua. So much beauty to it. And then there's going to be a visit to the Chocolate Museo. So although you're not able to be there in person to make your chocolate, it'll be a good tidbit for you to know what to do when you are in Nicaragua next time. Then on Saturday, we're going to be sending you some footage from Las Isletas boat tour. So I just mentioned to you Lake Nicaragua. Within Lake Nicaragua, there are 2 volcanoes. And actually the picture you see right here on the left-hand side of the screen, there are 2 volcanoes within Lake Nicaragua. And it is stunning for those of you who are adventurous and like hiking and being outdoors and swimming. They have an awesome lagoon there that you can go, freshwater lagoon that you can go swimming in. It's really beautiful. Now we're going to give you some insight as to what that looks like, but Las Isletas, those are the little islands within Lake Nicaragua. And then on the boat ride, you'll be able to go through the different isletas. There's one island there called Monkey Island, Isla de los Monos, and that is indeed Monkey Island. So there are monkeys that you'll see in the footage too. And then from there, we're going to do a tour of Grand Pacifica. So I think that's why a lot of you are joining us. You want to get a good idea of what the Grand Pacifica property is like. We're going to go through a tour of Las Perlas condominiums. That's the beachfront community. And then in addition to that, Santa Barbara and San Diego Viejo. San Diego Viejo is really where Grand Pacifica started. It's the first neighborhood that we created. I'm going to go through a lot more of this in depth during the Q&A session in a little bit of time at 5 o'clock Eastern. But it's really one of our staple communities within Grand Pacifica, custom family homes. People are able to build their dream home there. And then we'll go into Santa Barbara, which are beachfront custom estate home lots. And then we're going to see a teak tour of the property, go to the teak farms and see what the different teak trees look like. And then on Sunday, we are going to continue around Grand Pacifica. You're going to get some great footage of Mila. That is the new 2-3 bedroom community that we have close by San Diego Viejo, and then also Eco Village Asachio, Ava. That's what you see right there. That is the tiny home community that's located close to the beach. And then beachfront 2 and 3 bedrooms are Bella. And both Mila and Bella got launched last week, about a week and a half ago. So if you haven't heard us talk about that yet, let us know. We'd be happy to send you more information about that. And then, of course, one of the staples at Grand Pacifica is the sunset. So you will have the chance there to see what the sunset looks like at Grand Pacifica. There's a sneak peek right there of the guys surfing in the sunset, but also some sightseeing of what's around. And then on Monday, there's going to be a wrap up of the tour, highlights of the virtual tour. We will have a closing video. One thing I don't have on here, but we are going to make sure you all get the link, is we're going to do a cocktail happy hour at 5 p.m. Eastern. Write that down, 5 p.m. Eastern on Monday. And we're going to send you the recipe for the Macua, which is the national drink of Nicaragua. So we have the recipe at the end of the presentation here. So it'll give you a little bit of time to go out and get the materials and have a very refreshing rum drink for our happy hour on Monday. So you all should have gotten an email from me earlier this morning. And then in addition to that, we sent another one out about a half an hour ago, 45 minutes ago, which had the links as well. It was a little bit prettier than my first email, but you should have received that at this point. And you can refer to that, or you can reach out to us at any point if you have any questions about the tour. But what I would like to do is highlight a couple of key people who are going to be joining us here. And this is really a great time for all of you. If you feel comfortable to put your camera on there, we're going to just do a run around. People are going to say their names and where they're from, where they're currently based. And Gio, why don't we start with you?
Hi, everyone. Hey, my name is Giovanni Rodriguez. I was born here in Nicaragua. My mom is Italian. My dad is kind of like a Spanish European too. But I have always felt that not only because I was born in Nicaragua, but I love this country. Even though I used to live in the United States for 33 years, I love Nicaragua. I feel Nicaragua. So, and I'm very happy to actually work for Grand Pacifica as a general manager since 9 years ago, actually already. So I'm actually a father of a 5 years old, my daughter Fiorella and my wife Huguet. My wife is a dentist. She actually do dental implants here in Nicaragua. Whatever question you have about Grand Pacifica, Nicaragua, I am actually here for you.
And I do want to add, this is a little plug for your wife there, Gio, but Gio's wife is really well known in the medical tourism industry as well. So people go down to Nicaragua, they'll get medical services done. And so for those people who do go down to Nicaragua for the dentistry aspect, whether crowns or cleaning or x-rays or whatnot, Giovanni's wife can help with that. And one of the big draws to Nicaragua pretty generally is that there is really great affordable healthcare there. And one of the questions that pops up quite a bit is, how much is insurance, or do I need insurance, or what is healthcare like? We do have JCI accredited hospitals, which means it meets international standards, and Gio's wife as well can help with the dental services. I remember when I was down there last, I got a cleaning done. It was about $30 US. I was able to get x-rays, and then I had to go back for an unexpected follow-up appointment because I had some cavities, but getting those cavities in and everything, I think cost about $60 US. Didn't even bother to run through insurance or anything along those lines because it would have been a lot of hassle. So there's a little plug for Gio's wife. If anybody has any questions about the medical tourism side of things, to reach out to Gio, or if you're looking for some dental services, Gio can certainly help you there too. But Gio, I know that we didn't mean for that to be a plug for your wife, but we appreciate everything that she does, her incredible services. All right, with us, I see Kevin. Kevin, thank you for showing us your face there. Why don't you give a quick introduction about who you are and where you're currently at?
Hi, I'm Kev Dowling. I live in the UK. I've been very interested in coming over to Nicaragua. In fact, I was going to be there today, but I had some family problems and couldn't come. So I want to be on the virtual tour instead. And I've already bought some teak, the teak plantation, 5 plots. And I'm interested in finding a bit more about Nicaragua with everything else and seeing you guys showing us around.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. All right, I'm going to just jump around. I'm actually sitting here in our office with two of our ladies who are listening to on their computer. So I'm going to just hand off here to Katie. And Katie, why don't you say a little bit more about yourself, where you're from?
Hi guys, I'm Katie. Oh, I don't know if the video is.
Oh, yeah, we see you.
Okay. I'm Katie. I'm here in Belize, located on Portuguese Key. And I recently moved from the States last October. So made the trip down, don't regret it. And I started working with ECI. So I'm glad to be on the call with everybody today. It's nice meeting you all. And I'm going to hand you off to my lovely coworker, Megan.
Thank you. All right. Hi, guys. I'm Megan. I've been down in Belize for 4 years now. I was originally from Chicago. And, you know, I came down to do the diving and things just expanded from there. But I'm really happy to meet all of you guys. And I hope you have a good time on the tour today.
Awesome. Thank you. And I know it seems a little silly. We're all calling in from Belize, but I think many of you do know that as a development company, we've been around since about 25 years at this point, and we're all throughout the region. So some of the perks of being part of the ECI community is that we're able to jump around from country to country. I personally, Rachel Jensen, I lived in Nicaragua for a while. I was going back and forth to Belize. I'm currently in Belize, but I do go back and forth to Panama and Nicaragua quite a bit. So it's one of the nice advantages. And again, I know we're talking about Nicaragua, but we'll show you our beachfront views over here, a little bit different than Nicaragua, where we have the Pacific waters. Here we are on the Caribbean. But with that, I want to introduce a couple of other folks who are here with us too. And I don't see, sorry, let me get this all set up over here. I don't see, Todd, I know you're not on your camera, but would you like to give a quick introduction about you and where it is you're calling in from? I know you're muted there too, so you can just unmute if you have the chance. Or you may be tuning in from work and you can talk. All right. Oh, perfect. There you go, Todd. I can't hear you though. It does look like you've unmuted. Todd, can you hear us? All right, I'm not able to hear Todd over here, but what we'll do, Todd, we'll come back to you. What I would also like to do in the meantime is introduce Joe. Joe, why don't you say hi and give us a little bit more background about you?
Can you hear or see me?
Perfect.
Hi, everyone. My name's Joe, like Rachel said. I also work for ECI Development, and currently today I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but spend a lot of my time in Belize. You know, I think the great thing about being a development company throughout the region is there's really a lot to offer. You know, we're not just in one country saying, hey, this is the best country in the world, you know, come visit. We really have options all over. And so, you know, me personally, I love Belize. My family actually has Belizean passports. I've been going there for as long as I can remember. So, you know, there's a lot of different options out there. Nicaragua is another great one. I just personally love Belize a lot more. But, you know, I think there's, like I said, great options everywhere, and Nicaragua is one as well. So hope you enjoy the tour, and, you know, maybe next time we'll see some of your faces actually in Nicaragua, you know, in a live tour.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you there, Joe. And, you know, you really are right. There is something for everyone, and everyone, you know, is looking at something a little bit different. And some of the big perks to Grand Pacifica and the property that we have. Let me actually just continue on. Did I miss anyone? Kev, Megan, Katie, Todd? Okay, perfect. And then here are just some of our other property consultants who you probably have heard from at some point. Leslie is actually en route today to move to Nicaragua. She was originally bit by the Belize bug and was down here for a few years, and then went to Nicaragua a few months ago and said, you know what, I actually prefer Nicaragua. So she's currently en route today to Nicaragua with her 2 dogs, and going to be calling Grand Pacifica home. Andrea and Sarah. Andrea is calling Grand Pacifica home as well. And she brought her sister along for the ride, Sarah, and Sarah is currently at Grand Pacifica too. In addition, we have Gian. Gian's based here in Belize. Betsy is based here in Belize as well. Same with Natalie. So a good group of folks across the board. And what I think is really unique about this group specifically is the fact that they've been there, done that kind of thing. These are people who've gone through residency processes, moved, you know, took their life and moved to another location, or got passports in another country, or set up a business in another country. So they're people who talk to you from experience about what they've done and how it is that they can help you. So you probably have seen some of their names before, or one of them specifically is your property consultant, but do know that we have a great team across the board. So what I wanted to quickly mention is the location of where we're at. So Nicaragua is sandwiched in between Honduras and Costa Rica. And a lot of times we hear people refer to Nicaragua as what Costa Rica would have been, what Costa Rica was 20, 25 years ago. And so for a lot of people who are looking at real estate overseas or coming down to Costa Rica specifically, they like the fact that the location, the ease of getting to the tropics. And Nicaragua and Costa Rica have very similar geographies, but Nicaragua just isn't as developed as Costa Rica. So if people are looking for affordable or entry pricing into a beachfront neighborhood or into a place that is beautiful, tropical, very similar to Costa Rica, it's hard to find affordability in Costa Rica. So we're seeing this incredible growth of Nicaragua as a tourism country. We're seeing a lot of people making the move to Nicaragua instead of Costa Rica because they just don't like how developed or expensive Costa Rica has been getting. And so I'm really happy that all of you are here and you're all looking or own within Grand Pacifica already. I do think that it is a really unique place within the country. We're one of the only beachfront resorts close to Managua. We're actually the closest beachfront resort to Managua, which is the capital. The capital is the location that houses a majority of the population. About over a million people live in Managua. This is about a 6 million country population. And so we do see that there is a huge popularity of Grand Pacifica because there's a lot of traction from people going out for long weekends because it's only 45 minutes on a very nicely paved road. And I'm going to just scroll back a couple of slides here to the picture of Giovanni. It's cropped a little bit, but that picture of Gio is actually him as he was placing the last block in the road that goes from the primary highway to Grand Pacifica. It's an 11-kilometer stretch. And last May, we had that road fully paved. And that was after Giovanni placed the last block in, and you see him giving the thumbs up there. So it was really exciting. But Grand Pacifica is just really unique in many regards. The fact, like I said, it is the closest beachfront resort to Managua. In addition to that, we have two of the best surf breaks within Central America located right there on our 3.5-mile beach stretch. So there are many reasons why people are coming to Nicaragua, to Grand Pacifica more specifically. But in addition to that, we have been seeing this movement of people coming from Costa Rica to Managua because they like the climate, they like the tropics, they like the geography. But what really draws them into Nicaragua is the fact that it is a lot more affordable than Costa Rica. So right over here where you see the star on the left-hand side, I think you should be able to see my cursor. That is the location of Grand Pacifica. And you can see right around there are other towns, Masachapa. You'll hear us mention Masachapa quite a bit. That's where you're able to go and get your groceries. If you want to do more of a local shopping, fresh fish, for those of you who like seafood, you're able to go right down there to Masachapa and get that. In addition to that, the red box that we showed on the other slide before, that's Managua. So when you do have the chance to come down to Nicaragua, you'll fly into Managua MGA. And then it's about a 45-minute ride out to Grand Pacifica. And then some of the other places that we're going to be visiting on this tour here, Masaya and also Granada. Masaya is an incredible location. It's actually one of the only active volcanoes where you're able to see lava. So it's pretty cool. We're going to show you some great footage from it and you'll be able to see what it's like. But if it's been a bucket list item of yours, I know a few people I've spoken to have had that on their bucket list. But if it is one of those items, then make sure you have the chance to come down in person, but you'll drive up to it. And it's funny because when you're driving up, they'll tell you to park with the front of your car facing down or facing down towards the street. So if you do need to get down quickly, you're able to do so. But I don't expect that would happen, but it's a really, really beautiful spot. And then in addition to that, Granada, that's the city that we talked about a little bit before. It's a Spanish colonial city, really cute cobblestone streets, incredible architecture. And for those of you who like a charming city, this is a charming colonial city. This is certainly the place for that. But here are just some of the images of what I've referred to. So Masaya, there's that volcano, Masaya volcano. You can stand over the ledge, look in and see the lava. It's really quite fascinating. And in addition to that, there's Granada on the right-hand side. And behind Granada, where you see that body of water, that's Lake Nicaragua. That's the lake that we were talking about a little bit before, where it has the two volcanoes there. And in addition to that, Las Isletas, so the bottom left part of the screen, this is where you can take a boat. And we're going to do that on our tour. You're going to take a boat. You're able to drive drive through the boats. One of the stops is Monkey Island, where there are in fact monkeys living on the island. You'll get to see them, but it's a really neat, fascinating country. In addition to that, there's the Choco Museo. So this was probably one of my favorite experiences in Granada. And I would say the reason for that is because it really, you're there for, I don't know, 2-3 hours, but it's an authentic experience about how to make chocolate. And you do everything from roasting the beans over a fire to grinding them down. Then they give you different flavors that you can put in your chocolate, like chili flakes or bananas, even orange. And then you put them in the freezer. They get nice and solid. And then from there, you're able to eat your own chocolate bar. So this one's a really neat experience too. And so we'll give you some insight to it. Now within Nicaragua, I'm going to go back a slide. Within Nicaragua, there is an extensive amount to do. Obviously, within this tour here, we're only going to hit a handful of the locations, but Matagalpa, Esteli, that's the northern part of the country. You can see that if you follow my cursor here. This is known as the coffee growing region because it's cooler in climate, it's higher elevation. So when you're up there, it's 70s, low 70s during the day, maybe mid 60s, high 50s at night. And so you do get that cooler sort of climate. This is where they're growing the coffee beans for some of the best coffee in the world comes from this part of the region. In addition to that, on the right-hand side of the screen, this is the Caribbean. There are the Corn Islands. If you can follow my cursor right over here, Big Corn Island and Little Corn Island. These are incredible locations for people who just kind of want to unwind, get away from everything, be totally disconnected. Last time I was there, there was no phone service. There was no internet service. It was just a really neat place to unwind, go snorkeling, go diving. It may have changed since then, but it really is unspoiled, untouched location on the Caribbean. In addition to that, you may have heard of areas like San Juan del Sur and Tola and Riva. Those are on the southern part of the country, close there to the Costa Rica border. That's an area known also for its surfing. And then we talked before about Lake Nicaragua. So if you follow my cursor here, you can see how large of a lake it is. One of the largest lakes, I think it is the largest lake within Central America, located right there. And then you see the two islands, Isla de Ometepe, there are two volcanoes right there. It's really quite neat, Concepcion and Maderas. And there you're able to go on those islands and spend a night or 2 or 3. And that's where you have the natural lagoons. And there's just quite a bit to do there. There are a handful of other places that I'm not going to talk too much about, but Somoto Canyon, which is referred to as the Grand Canyon of Nicaragua, which you can go canoeing in and jump off cliffs into the water. And there's just a tremendous amount within Nicaragua to do. So if you're somebody who's thinking about calling Nicaragua home, know that you can rent a car or own a car and it's safe for you to drive around. The dangerous part may be if a road's not paved and if there are big potholes. Get a 4x4. That should be a good takeaway for you from this. Get a 4x4. And then from there, you'll be able to get to most locations within the country, but it is definitely safe to do so. And then this is the Las Isletas that we talked about before. It really just is incredible. And on that boat ride, you will see the different aspects to it. So I'm not going to jump too much into the why Nicaragua. This is going to be highlighted in that Nicaragua 101 presentation that you'll be receiving in a little while. But why Nicaragua? A ton of reasons. We talked about the affordability of it generally. It is probably the most affordable country within Central America. At this point, we were talking about it a little bit earlier, the cost of when we were living in the States versus Belize versus Nicaragua. And your eyes get wide when you see how affordable something is. So for example, we were actually just talking about what lunch prices were in the States. So when we were working in the States, you go out for lunch, you spend $15, $20 on lunch. And we joked around over here. And Megan's like, it's easy to spend $15 at Chipotle. And Betsy goes, yeah, and even more if you're getting guacamole because that's extra. So you're at $20 to get lunch. And if you're doing that 5 times a week, you can see how it adds up. Here in Belize, it's a little bit more expensive. It's about $5 to $7 for a plate of local food. In Nicaragua, you can get a plate of local food for $1.75 to $2. So there's just this incredible affordability aspect to being in Nicaragua. And I referred to this a little bit earlier, but because it is so similar in geography to Costa Rica, more people are finding out about the country. More people are wanting to come to a place like Nicaragua, get in at the bottom part of the real estate investment curve where they have opportunities for appreciation. And tomorrow, we have that meeting with Paul. You see number 9 here for the easy residency programs. So Paul is going to join us live. So I would recommend bringing any questions that you may have with you about the residency process, opening a bank account, setting up a local corporation. That would be ideal for Paul tomorrow. And then last but not least, I do want to highlight point number 10 here is the amazingly friendly people. I think a lot of times Nicaragua has a bit of a bad reputation because of the revolution from the 70s and 80s. And Gio would probably be the first one to tell you he did flee the country. He left. But you also heard that he came back about a decade ago because as a Nicaraguan, he saw the incredible potential in his country and was coming back because the affordability of it, the great way of living, and because of the sheer beauty of the country. And so when you're coming to Nicaragua, what you're going to encounter are some of the nicest people who you have ever met. And I remember when I first moved to Nicaragua in 2012, I gave my parents 2 weeks and I said to them, I just got an internship in Nicaragua and I got my plane ticket, I think it was for like May, I think it was June 1st. I graduated May 15th and had a plane ticket for June 1st. And I mean, they went wild that my mom's like, you're going to cause me all these gray hairs and wrinkles and you're going to get kidnapped and it's the most dangerous place in the world. And how could you do this to us? Lo and behold, June 1st came, I was on the plane and had probably the best experience living there. I think the scariest thing that happened to me was when I got up early, it was like 4:45 in the morning, went to the gym, it was still dark out. I would jog to the gym and there was a dog that chased me. And it's, silly things like that people like, it's so crazy, so dangerous. Nicaragua is the safest country within Central America, but a lot of people prefer to harp on, what they heard 30, 40 years ago and not see the reality of it. But for those of you who are on today and are learning about Nicaragua and are owners with us, you really are in a very advantageous spot because you're getting in before the masses. So I'm glad you're all here. I'm welcoming you. I think you're going to be wildly impressed with the folks there in Nicaragua as you meet them along the way. And we do hope to see you in country at some point soon. I do quickly want to mention that right after this, so in about 15 minutes, we're going to jump off to the Grand Pacifica questions and answers. If you need the link, just email us now, info@ecidevelopment.com. Shamir and Michael, if you see any emails come in to this email address, just make sure you're getting that information over to them so that they can join us for that Q&A. But I do encourage you to join us if you're able to. Our Chief Operating Officer, Patrick Hebert, and then also Michael Cobb, our Chief Executive Officer, are going to join us. Mike lived in Nicaragua for 14 years with his family. Patrick and his wife are living in Nicaragua. So these are going to be great people for you to also hear from. And then we're going to have Q&A just to go through the general questions that may be on your mind initially. And I'll give you a quick recap too about the different neighborhoods within Grand Pacifica to help familiarize you with them before we jump into all of the tours this coming weekend. But one last slide, and then we'll let everybody get prepared for the upcoming Q&A, is the cocktail recipe for our happy hour on Monday. So do note that, remember, at 5 o'clock, happy hour time, 5 o'clock Eastern on Monday, we're going to get together again like this. We're going to have a happy hour. So this is the recipe for you to make that maquis. If you're not able to get the Flor de Caña rum, that's okay. You can use any rum. We will send this out to you so that you have the recipe there. It is delicious. Patrick, our Chief Operating Officer, has a restaurant there on site at Grand Pacifica. He says that Sea Salt has the best maquis he has ever tasted all throughout Nicaragua. This is their national drink. So I think we'll all have to get down there and rate it. Make yours over on Monday, and then we'll get down to Nicaragua and rate what it is at Sea Salt. But we'll send this over to you so that you're able to have it with us on Monday. Something else I did want to mention too before we jump into the other session. I know we talked a lot about what's around the country as a whole, and I just started to highlight some of the key spots, but there are a ton more within the country. I do want to note that within Grand Pacifica too, and within the area, there's quite a bit to do. So you see León. León is about 45 minutes, an hour away. And from León, that's another incredible city for you to check out. It's also an older Spanish colonial city. There's also the Flor de Caña rum factory. So for those of you who enjoy a good drink with rum in it, you can always go there to the Flor de Caña factory and get a tour and sample the different rums that are there. In addition to that, there's great outdoor activities, and especially at Grand Pacifica, you have the surfing. And even if you're not a surfer, there are great breaks to learn on. You can always get a surf lesson, get your massage out there, go horseback riding, a lot to do within the region. And then we will jump into this a little bit more too in the Q&A, but wanted to highlight that at least while we had our map here. Before we hop off, because I do see we have to hop off for our next session, that's going to be via another link. If you did not get that link, check your spam. We may be going to your spam. But in addition to that, we can email it to you. Just email us info@ecidevelopment.com and we'll send you that link right here as soon as we get your email. So here is the agenda again. So we're going to be jumping into that live Q&A in just a couple of minutes here. And then you'll be receiving the Nicaragua 101 webinar to review. And that's really the why Nicaragua. Why is it that people are coming down and investing and relocating generally? So again, you should get a copy of this. Let us know if you don't. Sometimes there are email glitches. But with that, does anybody have any questions about the agenda? Otherwise, we'll take a quick water break and I'll see you again in about 10 minutes. So I see Kevin and Todd. I don't know if either of you have any questions or any of the other folks on.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, perfect. All right, Kevin, well, we'll see you online in a little bit. Todd, I hope you can hear us. I think looks like you're muted again, so at least you're able to mute and unmute. Still can't hear you, but we will hopefully get that sorted for our session tomorrow. All right, everybody, well, I'll see you online in about 10 minutes. Thank you.